What if I told you that failure doesn't begin when you miss an opportunity, but the moment you open your eyes in the morning? What if everything that's going wrong in your life isn't because of destiny or your past, but because of the first 15 minutes you live each day? No one ever taught you this, but success isn't decided at 3 p.m. or in the next meeting or when money finally arrives. Success begins much earlier, in the most ignored, most underestimated moment, the instant you wake up. Because in that moment, without even realizing it, you're already choosing to stay the same or to begin becoming who you've always wanted to be. And here's the brutal truth. Your morning is already condemning you, and you don't even know it. Because the man who wakes up on autopilot falls asleep on his purpose. The one who starts the day hitting snooze, lighting up excuses, postponing himself one more time, he's already failing before he even tries. And you don't notice it on the first day or the second. But after a week, a month, a year, your life is just a copy with a different clock. And worst of all, you start to believe that's normal. But it's not. You came here today for a reason. And it's no coincidence. It's because you're already tired of living without direction. And that can only be fixed where everything begins in the morning. You don't fail because you lack talent. You don't fail because you don't have opportunities. You fail because you don't know how to wake up. Every morning, without realizing it, you reprogram your mind with the same thoughts that are slowly destroying you. You wake up, and the first thing you do is grab your phone. You check what the world said before asking what your soul needs. You give power to chaos. You hand over the keys to your mind to the noise around you. And that's where self-sabotage begins. Not with a big decision. Not with a catastrophe. It starts with something subtle, something more dangerous, something invisible. It starts with a mind that reacts instead of a mind that decides. Because when you begin the day reacting, you slip into autopilot. And autopilot is comfortable, but it pulls you away from your purpose. Most men live their lives as if they have no control over how they feel, as if their emotional state is an accident. But it's not. It's a consequence. A consequence of how you wake up, of what you think in those first few seconds, of what you allow into your mind when it's still virgin, receptive, moldable. That thought you have the moment you open your eyes. That silent phrase like, today's going to be rough. It's not harmless. It's a command, an order to the universe. And the universe obeys. You repeat it, over and over, until you become that version of yourself that delays everything, that starts the day slowly, aimlessly, and then wonders why nothing changes. But it's not your day that's broken. It's your start. Because the root of self-sabotage isn't in what you do when everything's falling apart. It's in what you do when everything is quiet. That's exactly where the pattern begins. The one no one sees. The one you yourself have normalized. And I'll say it again with force. You don't fail because you lack drive. You fail because you haven't learned to master your first thoughts. True success doesn't start with motivation. It starts with awareness. And awareness only awakens when you call it. The most dangerous enemy isn't failure. It's the chaos that comes before it. The kind that seems harmless because it doesn't scream, because it disguises itself as routine, because it arrives in silence. Right when you wake up, it doesn't show up like a monster. It shows up as an Instagram notification, as just 5 more minutes on your alarm clock, as the unnecessary rush of another Monday that looks like all the others. That's the real enemy. The invisible chaos that steals the control of your life before you've even gotten out of bed. And the problem isn't that you have a bad day. The problem is that your day is born wrong, and you normalize it. Let me tell you the story of 2 men. One wakes up, and the first thing he does is check his messages. He doesn't plan. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't decide. He just reacts. He goes to the bathroom with his phone in hand, eats whatever's around, leaves the house late, complains about traffic, and arrives at work already feeling like he's lost the day before it even started. The other man wakes up and stays in silence. He drinks water as a sign of respect for his body. He closes his eyes and visualizes the man he has chosen to become. He writes down a phrase, an intention. And from there, he moves through the day. Not because everything will go perfectly, but because he's already decided not to betray himself from the start. Both men face the same world, but one walks in with direction and the other with distraction. And do you know what the difference is between them? The first hour. That's it. Because that hour isn't just any hour. It's the energetic mold of your entire day, the silent compass of your character, the place where your destiny is either planted or your intention starts to rot. And most people hand that hour away, to their phones, to disorder, to their old mind. And then they wonder, why does life feel so empty? Why does everything seem to repeat itself? Because morning chaos doesn't destroy you all at once. It drains you little by little. It disconnects you from yourself drop by drop, until you no longer remember who you are. And here's the worst part. You get used to it, and you call it life. But chaos isn't life. It's the absence of purpose. And purpose doesn't show up by magic. It's built, and it's built exactly where you're neglecting it. At the moment you wake up, every time you start the day in a rush, without structure, without presence, you're repeating the same cycle disguised as routine. A cycle that steals your energy, your focus, your confidence, and your faith. Because there is no faith more powerful than the one you have in yourself. And if every day you begin by surrendering control, your subconscious records one single truth. I'm not capable of holding myself together. But that's not true. You weren't born to improvise your life. You were born to lead it. And that leadership starts where chaos wants to reign. In the first hour, the most powerful, the most dangerous, the most forgotten. Don't allow it anymore. Make that hour your trench, your altar, your sacred space. Because the man who conquers his morning can withstand any storm. Forget everything you've been told about discipline. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. with a warrior face or having a perfectly filled planner. Discipline is a silent promise, one you make to yourself and keep even when no one is watching. True discipline isn't shouted, isn't flaunted, isn't posted online. It's felt in the soul, seen in the eyes, proven in the moment when you could give up. But don't, because you know that surrendering, even just a little, would be an internal betrayal, a crack in your word. And you didn't come this far to betray yourself again. Invisible discipline is what makes you strong. When there's no applause, it's what sits you down in silence every morning. What pushes you to write your goals even when you don't feel like it. What makes you take action without asking your emotions for permission. And no, it doesn't harden you. It gives you structure. Because a man without structure is a child pretending to be an adult. He reacts to what he feels, runs when he's afraid, quits when it hurts. But you're not here for that anymore. You're here to hold yourself steady, even when it hurts, even when it's heavy, even when no one else understands. And you know what? No one needs to understand it. You do. You need to understand that every time you choose order over chaos, you're building a solid identity. One that doesn't depend on motivation, but on self-respect. Because waking up at the time you said you would, without negotiating with laziness, isn't about discipline. It's about honor. And that honor, it changes your entire presence. People will notice. Your family will notice. Your energy will change. And no, it's not magic. It's structure. A structure that no one else may see, but you feel it. And that structure, my friend, is what holds your destiny together. When life gets hard, when others break, you stand. Not because you're made of stone, but because your soul has grown a spine. And that spine, the world didn't give it to you. You built it, morning after morning, every time you decided to keep your word. That's why today, I want to give you a 5-step sacred morning ritual. Not something copied from a productivity book, but something born from what truly works. In your life and mine, in the lives of men who decided they would no longer fail themselves. This ritual is your anchor, your code, your silent declaration. Today, I take full responsibility for myself. Step 1. Wake up without negotiation. Don't snooze. Don't bargain with yourself. Don't say to the universe, I want to change my life, and at the same time, just 5 more minutes. Your word matters. And if you can't honor it with yourself, why would anyone else? Wake up when you said you would, even if it hurts, even if it's hard, because that is your first victory of the day. Step 2. Drink water as a sign of respect for your body. It may seem insignificant, but it's not. After hours of sleep, your body needs activation. Not with coffee, not with cheap dopamine, but with water. That simple act tells your system, I am present. I am awake. I am ready. Step 3. Sit in silence for 3 minutes. No music, no phone, no distractions. Just you and your breath. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what do I need today to feel proud of myself by the end of the day? Not what the world needs. Not what your boss expects. What you need. The answer will come, because your soul always knows. It's just that the noise has been drowning it out. Step 4. Write down these 3 things. One action that moves you closer to your goal, no matter how small. Write it. One attitude you want to carry today, like firmness, gratitude, or focus. One thought you won't allow today, like I'm not enough, I can't, or it's too late. This takes 2 minutes, but its power can move mountains inside of you. Step 5. Visualize 2 minutes with a version of you who's already made it. See him. See how he walks, how he speaks, how he responds to fear. This isn't fantasy. It's a possibility. A version of you that already lives inside, waiting to be activated. Do this ritual every day. No skipping, no excuses, no pausing, because you're not just forming a habit. You're building a new character, a new identity that rises with direction and lays down with dignity. And when this ritual stops being a practice and becomes part of who you are, you'll see everything start to shift in your favor. Not because the world changed, but because you've aligned with the person you were always meant to be. There's something most men don't dare face: their relationship with their past self. Many wake up each morning carrying old mistakes, unmade decisions, moments that scarred them, as if they still need to pay for them. They don't say it out loud, but they feel it in silence. They feel it when they doubt themselves, when they avoid commitment, when they sabotage just before making progress. Because a part of them still believes they don't deserve it. And the saddest part? That weight isn't real. It's a story they keep repeating, an internal voice whispering, you failed, you messed up, you're not consistent, you're not going to make it. And the worst part is, they believe it, but that voice is not you. That voice is the version of you that hasn't yet understood that growing also means forgiving yourself. You can't build a new life if every day you remind yourself why you don't deserve it. Listen to this. You are not your mistakes. You are the one who faced them and chose to keep walking. Yes, you failed. Yes, you've given up sometimes. Yes, you've lost your way. But you are here, and that already says something powerful. It means there's a part of you that still hasn't given up, a part that wants to let go of that old story and write a new one. And that new story begins with one phrase that I want you to burn into your mind. Today, I don't punish myself. Today, I use everything I've been to become something greater. Repeat it in silence. Write it if you must, but don't ignore it, because that phrase, said with awareness, cleanses more than 1,000 empty affirmations. The past isn't erased. It's honored, learned from, and integrated. And when you do that, when you can look back without guilt, without shame, without resentment, something inside of you is freed. And that empty space left by guilt gets filled with direction. And you can only activate him if you align with him starting in the morning. Now that you've let go of guilt, now that you understand you are not your mistakes, it's time to decide who you truly are. And no, I'm not talking about what others say about you or what the world expects from you. I'm talking about the identity you choose to install, because nobody told you this. But you don't act based on what you want. You act based on who you believe you are. And if every morning you wake up thinking, I'm weak, I'm inconsistent, I never finish what I start, then it doesn't matter how many goals you set, you will sabotage yourself. That's why the most important task in the morning is not to organize your schedule. It's to affirm who you've decided to become. Not who you were, not who they think you are, but who you are now starting to embody. And at first, you won't feel it. You won't believe it yet, but declare anyway. Hold it even if there's no evidence. Affirm it even if the emotions don't match. Because the mind doesn't distinguish between real and repeated. It just needs consistency. So every morning, no excuses, no skipping, no delay. Speak to yourself. Remind yourself. Rewrite yourself. Say it to yourself. Today, I act like a disciplined man. Today, I walk like the one who already defeated the old me. Today, I hold myself together, even if the world shakes. Do it even if you don't feel it. Do it even if your surroundings say otherwise. Do it until it becomes natural, because the day will come, and trust me, it will, when you no longer need to repeat it, because it will no longer be an affirmation. It will be your way of being in the world. You will walk differently. You will speak with more certainty. You will make decisions from a higher place. And it won't be because the world changed. It will be because you've changed inside. That is what it means to install a new identity, not as a motivational act, but as a sacred practice, every day, every morning, without exception, because the man who affirms himself with conviction eventually becomes his own word. And if you've made it this far, it's not by accident. It's because a part of you is no longer willing to live the same. A part of you screamed in silence. Enough. Enough repeating myself. Enough living on autopilot. Enough betraying myself every morning. And that scream, that's your rebirth. That's your breaking point. The moment where, without witnesses, without applause, you decide, this time I will not fail. And you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to honor one promise. Today, I don't fail myself. That phrase, spoken with intention, is more powerful than any plan, because it's an internal command, a directive to the soul, a new compass to hold on to when emotion isn't enough. And if something inside you resonated with this message, with every word we've built together here, then listen closely. This channel isn't just another place for motivation. This is a spiritual training ground, a refuge for those ready to stop giving up, a brotherhood for those choosing to live with direction, with character, with purpose. Here at Napoleon Inspires, we're not here to entertain. We're here to help you remember who you are and to walk together toward who you were born to be. So if something inside you is activated, subscribe, not for the video, not for me, do it for you, so that with every new message, you're reminded of your promise, so that you never again fall asleep without direction. And before you go, write it boldly in the comments. Today, I don't fail myself. Write it as a pact, as a signal to your mind, as an anchor for tomorrow, when the world tries to pull you off track again. Because when a man honors his word, everything in his life begins to align. And if you hold the line, the universe will hold it with you.